at the coordinate plane, and this is just a review. So I have the coordinates here, 2 and 4, and then I have 4 and 2. And these have very different points on the coordinate plane. So the order does matter. This first number here is going to go on the x-axis. So I would count over 1, 2 here. And then the second one is the y-axis. So the first one is going across, and then the second one is going up. So, and then I go up until 4, and that's where that would go. Same as this one here. The 4 is what I count over on the x-axis first, and the 2 is how many I go up. So they would hold very different places on the coordinate system. So making sure that you are looking at that and remembering that, hopefully from last year. If I was going to write, so if I'm looking at this red dot here, right? This red dot, and I'm going to write this as coordinates. The 2 would go first because that's how many I've counted over, and then 1 because that's how many I've counted up. If I'm going to look at the blue dot here, the blue dot, the coordinates for this blue dot are 4 because that's how many I've counted over, right? So 4, and then how many I've counted up is 5. Okay, so hopefully you remember this from last year. If I was going to write this, so first looking at the red one again, actually we just did this, so never mind. So, all right, now we're going to look at D first, and we're going to come up with a formula for this. And this is a really tricky one. Okay, so my first coordinates here are the input there for x is 1, and the output there for y is 0. The input for D, the line D here, for the second coordinate, I go over, so that's 2, and then I would go up, and that's 2. Okay, and then I would find the next intersection of where they intersect there, and that is 3, and I've gone up 4. Okay, and then the next place that it intersects would be up here, and that is 4 and 6. Okay, so if I was going to write this as a sequence of coordinates, I would have 1 and 0, and then I would have 2 and 2, and then I would have 3, 4, and 4 and 6. Okay, now I'm looking at C. I'm going to use this in just a little bit, but I'm just going to use the table to help me figure out what that sequence is. All right, C. So I'm going to do it backwards now. I'm going to do this first. So my first coordinate, notice that it doesn't come all the way through. So we are starting at 1, and y is 2, and then our next spot that we overlap is 2 and 3, and then the next spot where we hit a corner there is 3 and 4, and then 4 and 5, and then up here, and that would be 5 and 6. Okay, now I can easily plug this into my into my input-output table. And 5. Now, finding the formula for the C is going to be easy. D is a little more challenging. Okay, now what I'm noticing here is the output here is smaller, then it's the same, then it's larger, and then it's even larger. So it is increasing. So I'm going to start with X here. I hate that first drawing always goes wonky. Okay, so I have x. Right? Now, my input is this x. So 1. What do I need to do to 1 in order to get 0? So I can go, and then what do I need to do here? I know what the answer is, so I'm having a hard time not just saying the answer here. But I can figure out a couple different things. I'm not just going to be able to add or subtract or just multiply. So I know that this is 2 steps. So I'm going to have something on either side of this x. And so if I have 2 here times x, so 2 times 1 is 2. And then what would I need to do to get 0? I'd have to subtract 2. And let's see if that works. So sometimes you just need to figure out, what do I need to do to x in order to get this? And sometimes it's just going to be trial and error here. And if I plug in 1 there, 2 times 1 is 2 minus 2, right? And then 2 times 2 is 4, minus 2 is 4. So that does work. For this one here, C, so this is D, and for C, this one's really quite easy. I have Y is the output, right? And X is the input. And what am I doing every single time to X? Well, I am adding 1. And so I can just check that. 1 plus 1 is 2, 2 plus 1 is 3, 3 plus 1 is 4, right? And so I know that that works. All right, I can go the opposite direction as well here. So if I'm going to put this in here, I have 2, and then I go up to 4 here, right? I'm just going to erase this actually and just put the dots in. So I go over 2, and then I'm going to go up to 4, and that is 1 point. I go over to 4, and then up to 5, and that's another point. And then I go over to 6, and up to, where's 6? Right here. And I go over to 8, and up to 7. And then I can actually draw a line through. And this is very, okay. And that would represent my chart here. Now, if I was given a formula, so y equals x plus 2, I can also work this out. So I'm going to do this in red. So if I said x is 0, so I have 0 plus 2, right? 0 plus 2. So then I'd go is 2. Then I would go to 1. 1 plus 2 is 4. 2 plus, that's wrong. What am I doing? Okay, 0 plus 2, right? And then I go to 1. X is 1. Plus 2 is 3. Then I go to 2. 2 plus 2 is 4. And then I go to 4. 4 plus 2 is, 3. And 3 plus 2 is 5. And I can keep going, right? 4 plus 2 is 6. Okay, so this is how you could use this formula. And if I wanted to even change it again and say, oh, I have 2x plus 2. So now I go 2 times 0 is 0 plus 2, and I would start at the same spot, right? And 2 plus 1, or 2 times 1 is 2. So I'm starting here. 2 plus 1 is 2, plus 2 is 4. So my next point is going to be here. And then 2 plus 2 is 4, plus 2 is 6. So I could keep going like this. And so that's how I would use these formulas in order to be able to plot on my Cartesian plane. Okay, if this didn't make sense to you, because this is a review of grade 7, you need to come to